Auto Central, powered by AutoTrader on CliffCentral.com.
Yes, it's that time of the Wednesday afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Auto Central here on CliffCentral.com, proudly brought to you by AutoTrader.co.za. I'm joined in studio today, to my left, Vilmarie Jansen van Rensburg at SA Speed Queen.
Hello, Chad.
Hi, Vilmarie. How you doing?
I'm great, thank you, and I'm very excited for today's lineup.
I'm sure you would be. We've been haggling to get this guest in for ages now. And finally, the gentleman's here. I'm going to get to the big introductions now, but just off to Vilmarie's left now. CEO of AutoTrader, George Mini.
At George Mini, yeah. Hello.
Well, welcome.
Thank
How you doing?
Good and you?
Very good. Have a good weekend.
Very good weekend.
George, you're shrinking away.
Shrinking away?
Yes.
What does that mean?
Your diet's working.
Oh, yes, I know it's working. 6.5 kilos down.
Whoa.
Well done.
6.5 kilos.
That's in how many weeks?
That's in 5 weeks.
5 weeks.
Yeah,
That's really not bad. That's fantastic.
It's an average about just over a kilo a week, so it's working.
You didn't have that much to lose, but...
Yeah, thank you, Chad.
No, you didn't. You really didn't. I didn't think you were in bad shape, from a guy's point of view. But 6.5, I don't even want to know where you lost it in.
We're not going to go there.
Okay, we're not. But yes, of course, we've got our guest in today, and it is Toby Venter of Porsche South Africa. Welcome to Cliff Central. Welcome to Auto Central. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here, and hello to all your listeners.
Yes. Well, we've got them in here, and of course, we're going to be talking all things Porsche SA, as well as touching on a little bit about Kyalami. I think that's the majority of the buzzword over the past couple of years has been Kyalami, what's going to happen with it. And of course, once the successful bid was made, we were all just relieved to have it back in the hands of an enthusiast.
Don't forget Ducati.
As well,
Ducati SA. I got to bring that in.
You just saying hashtag.
You've got to dive in there with that one, yes. So first of all, I'd like to thank you very much for saving what is a historical place for many petrol heads and enthusiasts around the country, in the sense that a motoring enthusiast purchased Kyalami to keep it as a racetrack and not as some silly business development or something, condo or
Golf estate,
something of the sorts. Yeah, something of the sorts. So thank you very much for that. Thank you for stepping up to the plate. But we're going to hear a little bit more about what your thoughts are with regards to, or your thinking process was with regards to climbing in there and, dare we say it, rescuing. Would you say that it was rescuing Kyalami?
It was a great privilege to be able to be there at the right place at the right time. We actually didn't think we were in with a shout. We thought the property guys would be able to outbid us. So it was quite a shock when we got it, a pleasant shock, and a great responsibility, to preserve Kyalami for all of South Africa.
But sorry, Chad, can I ask? Toby, I know that a couple of years ago, maybe 8 to 10 years ago, you also had your eye on Kyalami. Am I right?
You're right. We had negotiations with the AA at the time in 2005, and for one reason or another, we thought we had a deal then, but the deal didn't go through. And when it came up for the second time, I said to the team, we should at least try.
Yes.
If we don't go and try, maybe it gets sold and we kick ourselves afterwards. So we didn't think we were going to get it, as I said previously. But we went through the motions of registering, putting up the security, and I wasn't even there. I was on a press launch with the Porsche Macan in the Western Cape, and I was on my cell phone, and my financial director and group property manager were there.
So they were there on your behalf.
Correct.
And I know Roger McCleary was also there.
He was, yes.
Yeah, giving some rundown commentary, because we were quite curious to see what was going to happen. But it's no secret that I think you spent, was it 205?
The final purchase price was 205, if we're not mistaken. The reserve was set at 200, which is considerably higher than what it auctioned off for previously.
Originally, the reserve was 140.
Yeah.
And it was raised to 200, and I think that was key in us getting the successful bid, because I think if it had been at 140, it might have had a runaway bid even more than what we paid.
Okay. Now there was a good number of property developers that were in attendance at this auction as well, of Kyalami and the property and the estate and the racetrack and everything that goes with it. But apparently there were a couple of track owners as well. Other track owners from overseas that were here. Do you know who they were?
I don't. I know that the auctioneers try to get as many interested parties as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that some people were also able to bid online or on the phone. So at the time, it seemed like a lot of money as well. I think now that a lot of people are looking back, they're saying perhaps they should have also taken it more seriously. But at the time when we did it, everybody was nervous. And I think that once it was over, everybody sort of thought, well, that's cheap.
Yeah, we could have done. Where were they expecting the prices to be? Were they expecting it to be over the 300 possibly marks and that sort of stuff, that it sort of started scaring them away?
I don't know what was expected. I know what we expected, and we were just about at the limit at what we could spend.
But Toby, were you ever nervous? I mean,
I think I wasn't nervous to start off with, but after we got it, we had to decide or quickly find the money to pay for it. So we had to make financial arrangements. But no, I wasn't nervous. I thought it was always a good purchase.
Yeah, because I mean, there's the purchase price, and then everything we know now, and our understanding being in the industry for a while, now there's the maintenance price, and there's the changes that we want to get to as well, that you're busy with the track. Because I mean, I think the day you got it, you started already making changes to the track. That must be quite a bit of money over and above your purchase price. But basically what I want to ask is this, I think this is the third time Kyalami is changing, am I right?
It's probably not the third time, but it's the third big time.
There's
been a number of smaller changes, but there was the original track of the 60s, right up to that stayed the same till the late 80s.
That had the long straight.
Yes. And then they brought the new Kyalami in 88.
Yes.
Which was originally known as the Sure circuit. That didn't last very long, the name, but the track itself, from that time from 88 onwards, has had a number of small changes.
I think the chicane was one of them as well.
Yes. That chicane has come and gone so many times, it's not even funny. They've put it back in, demolished it, so there's numerous lap records and that survive around Kyalami. But now, what sort of upgrades are we looking forward to seeing now? And I was chatting to Christo a little earlier, and he was saying that, well, we are sort of on the back nine of the construction and the revamping. Let's put it that way, the revamping of the facility, and things are looking pretty good, and things are looking quite good to schedule. So what can we look forward to when Kyalami reopens in the near future?
A lot. I mean, as we speak, the final asphalting is taking place. We decided to resurface the track because it needed that. It was breaking up, and that sort of forced our hand into making the changes at that time. Because when we bought it, we thought we'll leave it as it is and operate it for a while, and we couldn't, because if anybody knows anything about tar and roads, if you don't maintain them and you don't do what you have to do, then you're actually going to have a bigger bill at the end. So we decided to resurface. Well, we had to, and then we thought at the same time, let's fix the elements of Kyalami that were missing, and we took inspiration from the original 60s track with the long straight. So we tried to get the straight as long as possible.
And I mean, the 60s track was the one that was sorely missed. It was many that were saying, and international drivers as well, that said, it was one of the greatest tracks in the world, and they really enjoyed loving racing it. And then when they changed the layout and they flipped the direction around, it sort of went to pot, that it wasn't quite the same anymore.
That's correct, yeah.
How long is that straight, the new one?
The new straight is now just under a kilometer.
Wow.
I want to tell you a little story that when they opened the new Kyalami in 88, they asked Cyril van der Merwe what he thought about the track, the new track. And his comment was very crisp and to the point. And he said, the old Kyalami was one of the greatest tracks in the world. The new one isn't.
Oh, well, that just explains it.
He was never one to mince his words, though, was he?
Never mince his words. So our vision for the current Kyalami is to make it great again. And I think anybody that has seen the layout We've tried to get the character of the old Kyalami. We've brought back the old names. Mm-hmm. We wanted a 1 kilometer straight, but we ran out of space. We would have been right onto the main road because of the runoff area. The FIA inspected the layout and brought us back a little bit, but it's still a serious straight. 900 meters is long.
Yeah.
It's the other thing is we've brought back the character of the old Kyalami with the sweeps. Mm-hmm. So the first corner is the kink, like the old Kyalami.
Yes.
And then Crowthorne was a very famous corner. And I think a lot of us can remember Crowthorne sitting on the grandstand there, seeing all the cars coming down at a hell of a speed.
And was a big spectator point.
It was a great spectator's point, and then having to outbrake each other and then take Crowthorne. So there's a new Crowthorne now, and it's got the same character as the old one. Just after that, we now have 2 sweeps called Yukskei Sweep. Okay. The Yukskei Sweep was a famous corner in the old Kyalami. Yes. Very challenging corner, very fast. And then just after that, we have Barbecue, which is a left-hander that goes onto the back straight of the old pits. And then we have the traditional Sunset Clubhouse S's up the hill to Leeuwkop. We're calling that Leeuwkop now.
I was going to ask, what have you kept?
Yeah, all of the original names. So remember, originally Leeuwkop went right, now it goes left.
Okay.
We kept the name of the mine shaft because we thought that's a great South African connotation. And then we changed after that. It used to be a sharp right-hander after the mine shaft. Yes. We extended that quite a bit to go as far as possible to where the old Bomas were. Mm. And now that's a new corner called The Crocodiles. And there was a lot of debate about the name. And we thought that it suits the name because of the shape. It sort of twists down as like a crocodile. And there's going to be a lot of action down there, a lot of passing.
They're by the Bomas.
Yes. Okay. Well, we've taken those old Bomas down.
Where the Bomas were, yes.
Yes, and that's now opened it up for spectator viewing, and people will be able to sit on the grass there. So that corner now is called the Crocodiles, and when you come down there, you're going to be going pretty fast because that mine shaft is fast. Yes. Now you don't have to brake for the right-hander. You carry on quite a bit. And then the Crocodiles means that coming down that with such a speed, there's going to be a lot of passing. There's going to be a lot of action.
Again, for spectators.
Yeah, for spectators, and it's a dramatic corner. It's going to redefine a lot of elements of what Kyalami is all about. Thereafter, it sweeps down again. A lot of elevation changes. That's the other big thing we went for, is elevation changes. And the next corner is called Cheetah. That's sort of where the old bus, that chicane type of corner. Yeah, we wanted to change that corner even more, but again, the FIA said we couldn't because of the runoff areas aren't sufficient on the left there, where we've kept those Bomas there.
Okay.
And then the last corner, we've changed again, and we've called that Ingwe. That's the corner before the main straight. We've tried to make that corner faster, and we've tried to give that corner different elements, different lines. So the idea is that if you come down towards Ingwe, that you can have a left and a right line, and then you can get onto the straight and then have a big slipstreaming or outbraking for Crowthorne again. So the whole idea is to promote passing, to have if you're on the left for one corner, you're on the right for the next corner, and make it an exciting track with, as I said, the character of the old Kyalami.
Yeah. That's wonderful. But I mean, Toby, did you use, a lot of people I think don't know that your background, or you have a motorbike background, which I've now also found out, but also mainly cars. You've been racing cars for a long time. Did this help you design the different types of corners? Did you get someone, obviously you had to get a specialist in, did you play a big role in the designing of this now, of the new Kyalami?
Look, it was a team effort. We consulted with experts from overseas. We spoke to a company that in Germany that did the design of Formula One tracks. Okay. And the first thing they told us was that the latest concept in designing tracks is you've got to optimize the track for advertising on TV. So we immediately
has that really become such
that's
like
the
one of the
focus.
cruxes, really?
Yeah. So we immediately said we'll throw that one out the window.
Yeah.
This is going to be designed like the old traditional tracks where you sit down as a bunch of enthusiasts and you think, okay, what will a nice corner be? So we also had a local company, a WSP, and they also had a number of racing guys on their team. And so everybody got together and said, what do we want to do here? We want to make this a great track like the old great tracks, like Spa and Monza and Nürburgring and Silverstone. We don't want it to be a modern computer-generated track which is soulless. So first we want the track to be iconic, and then we believe the commercial aspects will be enhanced. The advertising, the television coverage, the spectators.
The excitement to be on it as
Absolutely.
a competitor. Yeah.
So the track has to be exciting to race on, first of all. It's got to be great for spectators. And I believe we've achieved that.
But I mean, Toby, I know that it's very expensive to bring a GP or Formula One here. Is that something that's in All World Superbikes is not as expensive? Is that something that's in the pipeline for you, or are you just considering local for a long time? In terms
Our business
of racing?
model is we're not race promoters at this stage.
Okay.
We're focusing on the priorities, and that is to create a venue. So Kyalami is about venue hire. That's track hire. We're going to have 3 tracks there. We'll have the main track, we'll have the off-road course, and we'll have a dynamic handling track with a skid pad. So let's just go back a step. The reason why we're adopting this policy is we want to make Kyalami financially viable, which will mean that will safeguard the track for the future. And the way we do that is we concentrate on the revenue, and that's venue hire.
And is this where the driver training, rider
Yes.
training, that section
Yes.
comes
So
in?
Kyalami is for car launches, driver training, for photo shoots, for races, and then for companies wanting conferencing. The pits will be a conference venue. There's going to be, together with the pits and at the top, 15,000 square meters of conferencing venue. There'll be small conference rooms. There'll be big gala conference areas. So we could do up to 2,000 people. And this will pay for the racetrack and to preserve for the future the viability of the whole of Kyalami as a complex. And before we actually started the resurfacing, that model, the venue hire model, was working well already, which is what gave us the encouragement to invest this additional money in. The other thing that we also realized once we started the changes on the track, we were going to just renew the barriers on the new sections of the track and put new tires on. But when we started looking at the old safety elements, we realized that they were not safe anymore. The tires were hard, the barriers were rusted. So we were forced to redo the entire safety of the whole track, which is new tires, new crash barriers, new debris fencing with cables. So it's turned out to be a mammoth project.
And you've still managed to stick, as we were saying, very much to your schedule and your time frame in terms of getting it up and running and naturally generating an income. Because what a lot of people don't realize is that a racetrack doesn't only cost money when there's an event on. It costs money every single day of the week, and the fact that there's staff that need to be paid and there's maintenance and all that type of thing that needs to carry on. And I'm guessing that's now where you're keeping with that business model of hiring the track out, promoting functions, promoting corporate affairs at the venue to keep it maintained and not just relying on racing events solely.
Kyalami is in huge demand, and it will be a sought after venue. It's ideally located, it's safe and secure. And Kyalami used to be out of the way. It's now in the heart of the business area, going in the northern suburbs. There's a huge development at Waterfall, the shopping centre. It's going to be, I believe, it's going to be fully booked.
Now, do you foresee any problems with regards to, like you say, it's now right in the center of everything and it is so accessible. With all the infrastructure that is now developed around it, do you foresee a bit of a problem the same way that Kyalami is sitting with it in terms of noise regulation, noise pollution and that, and needing to actually invest more money into the venue to make it viable to continue racing there?
I don't think you can... anyway, I'd like to know, because this has been an issue for a while.
The answer is simply no. We don't envisage a problem.
Okay.
Provided we stick to what's
noise,
been agreed with the residents, and that is we can have X amount of race days and X amount of non-race days. But I think the residents are just too happy to have Kyalami there, rather than another development which could be detrimental to their space. So we've had a positive response from all the residents.
So they're actually happy?
Yes.
Well,
yes.
that's wonderful.
Yeah. That's very strange. I mean, it possibly will only last so long, because as those residents move on or they grow and they move out, and that they're possibly replaced by the newer, fresher residents.
Surely people move in there and they know Kyalami's there. It's not like something that just grew overnight.
No,
but this has been our argument as well.
Yeah,
Sorry,
this is the problem that Kyalami has been sitting with. It was the people that moved in there. They knew very well, listen, I'm moving in next to a racetrack. It's going to be noisy, but they've got the same rights. You move next to a guy that's been practicing drums in his house for the past 20 years.
You know that.
But you've still got the right to ask for a little bit of peace and quiet.
Killarney's got some different challenges in terms of who owns them and the whole. The
lease and everything.
Yeah, because it isn't really residential around that. But this is very interesting for me, Toby, because I mean, when we were racing, I still remember I wasn't allowed to do one race because of the noise level on my 1600. I was very upset.
What exhaust did you have on that 600?
It was slightly...
She didn't have one.
yeah,
straight parts.
So, but to hear that you've included the residents, the people around it, and negotiated with them, that's wonderful. I mean, if they've agreed and there's an agreement in place, I think those are the kind of things that it was never done initially. Am I right in saying that? And now it's done the right way.
It wasn't done with the previous owners, but prior to that there was similar agreements, and it worked well. I believe we can exist together,
yes,
providing there's the mutual respect for each other, and I think everybody up to now has been happy. We've had since we bought it, we had no complaints. We even had extra race days and noisy days available, which we didn't even use. Yeah, you just got to be able to work together. Kyalami isn't that bad in terms of noise because of the way that it's laid out. It doesn't seem to generate excessive noise. It does generate noise, and for race days it'll always be noisy. But every racetrack in the world, almost without exception, is faced with similar challenges these days. It's not an uncommon thing for racetracks these days to have to comply with noise regulations.
George, I know that you're very curious on the Porsche side.
Yes.
Because, and I know this is something George have quite a bit to ask. If I can just start it by asking, what is your vision for Porsche and Kyalami?
First of all, Kyalami we're going to keep as a venue for everybody, for all the manufacturers of cars and bikes and other things. We're looking at having various motor shows there, events like that. But specifically for Porsche will be a client of Kyalami's like any other brand. And there'll be a lot of driver training there. There'll be, previously we've brought out the Porsche Sports Driving School for our Porsche customers, and they've been able to take their cars onto the track under the Porsche umbrella.
That's awesome. I was actually going to ask that.
Yeah. So we also think it's a great fit for promoting cars, for selling cars. Like all manufacturers, racetracks today, help sell cars, and with the traffic patterns, it's an essential part of the mix to have access to a racetrack.
And naturally, performance cars.
Yes,
the likes of Porsche. Yes.
Yeah.
Now I see you're referring to Porsche as Porsche, which I think is the more correct term for Porsche.
That is right.
That is right. Porsche.
Okay, my apologies.
Yeah, I know, my apologies. It's one of my favorite cars.
You don't have to worry about saying it exactly correct.
What is the future for Porsche in South Africa?
Well, we're just very exciting. We're growing all the time. The Porsche model lineup is not limited. We've just launched Porsche Center Pretoria, opened that as one of the best Porsche centers in the world, state-of-the-art facilities. And
that brings it to 4 in the country now. 5 in
that's
the country.
4, yeah.
4 in the country now.
Yes,
Porsche centers.
4 of really world-class brand centers.
Okay.
I call them Porsche experience centers rather than brand centers, because when you go in there, you feel and you touch and you can be part of the Porsche heritage and the Porsche family.
So what would you say to someone who doesn't own, basically speak to me please, if I don't own a Porsche yet? You said earlier come and have a coffee, so I'm going to come in and have a coffee. Can't afford it yet, Toby, but I'll work on it. But I mean, there's people out there that I think it's such an amazing brand and they're almost too nervous to walk in. It looks from the outside like, what would you say to those people?
It's a very valid question. I do believe all motoring roads eventually lead to Porsche, and that's not just a slogan. There's substance behind it.
Yeah.
Porsche designed the world's very first hybrid in 1900. They designed the world's first four-wheel drive car in 1904. The legendary Mercedes SSKs and Auto Unions were designed by Porsche. They've designed military tanks, the Tiger and Leopard tanks that the Germans used in the Second World War.
Any planes?
They designed plane engines. And so there's a lot of design history. A lot of the things that are seen in modern cars were designed by Porsche. And I believe there is a Porsche for everybody. Maybe not a new one, but a pre-owned one.
I suppose a lot of people's kind of question is, we're in a tough economy. Porsche's
rand dollars absolutely nightmare at this point in time.
But Porsche, not only in South Africa, is doing well. So are we really in that much of a tight squeeze?
Are we really struggling that much?
Exactly.
There's two answers. The reason why Porsche is doing well in South Africa is because we offer our customers good value. It's a true brand value of Porsche that the cars shouldn't be overly expensive to buy and to run. If you buy a Porsche and you sell it, you'll get a good resale. We offer maintenance and warranty on our pre-owned cars up to 9 years or 200,000 Ks.
Wow.
So if you buy a high mileage Porsche on AutoTrader or from us, we also advertise on AutoTrader, you would get peace of mind because you're buying the car with backup. And that's how a lot of people start out.
It's a big deal.
They might not be able to afford a new Porsche, so they might buy one that's 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9 years old. And then they can still afford to run it because the maintenance is taken care of. And that's a big consideration when you buy a car like that. Can you afford to run it? And then once you bought your first one, it's in your blood, and then you can upgrade and eventually buy a newer one.
Now, of course, this is because, and this is spoken from a proper true enthusiast, because you've had a good number of Porsches and you've got an illustrious racing history with Porsches as well. Where did that start?
Yes, I started like anybody else wanting to own a Porsche, and I first bought a second-hand one and then upgraded to a new one.
Which one was it?
I bought my first Porsche was a 911 Targa. 1980 model.
I was born.
You still couldn't fit in the back.
Well, now we're not calling you a classic or anything here.
Not yet,
anyway,
please.
it was a great car. The second one was a brand new 911 SA 82 model, and then I bought a second-hand 911 Turbo, which I started using competitively in the Porsche Club events. And then one day we had a Porsche parade in Swaziland. And the then head of Porsche South Africa was there, and he announced that there will be a Porsche Turbo Cup series. And I said, well, I'm gonna take part in that series. And the very first race was at the new Kyalami in 1988. I think it was July 1988. and I won my first race with that car against some serious competition.
First time out?
Yeah, first time out, again, local and international competition.
Wow.
I did a lot of preparation beforehand. I raced 2 races in Germany, and that sort of honed me to be able to win the first race here.
Because they're on a different level, perceived to be, or at that stage, would you say?
Yeah, look, it was the premier. I thought it was the premier racing in South Africa at the time, because we had international drivers for every event. We had extensive television coverage. There was a lot of excitement for the new Kyalami, even though Sorrel didn't rate it. There was a lot of excitement. And he also actually raced in that Turbo Cup series in that first year, in 88. I won the championship also in that year. And
first time out you win, and you win a championship. So you stuck with Porsche after.
Yeah, it was a great thrill, I must tell you.
That's marvellous. Do you do any racing now, still, currently?
I still race, yes.
Do you? Okay.
I haven't been able to race as much this year as I wanted to. We've had a lot of pressure getting Kyalami fixed up. But I do still race. I've got a very special 911 GT2R, which is a factory car, 1996 model. And it's still competitive, making lots of power and doing serious lap times.
Toby, I want to ask you a little bit about your other new babies, we can call it, or your other brand, Ducati, because I saw some of your Porsche standing there, but that's also your building. Was it an old Porsche building?
That's our original Porsche building in Randburg, 174 Bram Fischer, and Ducati's now in that building.
Yes. So now, is it a year now since you bought it over?
It's nearly 2 years. You won't believe it.
2 years.
Yeah, it's coming up for 2 years. And it's been a tough road rebuilding Ducati, but I'm happy to say that anybody that will visit Ducati in Randburg, it's a magnificent facility, and Ducati are building one winner after the next. As you know, you tested a couple of them.
Yes.
The new Scramblers have been a great success. The new Panigales, the 1299's been overwhelming success.
Well, Johnny knows my favourite. It's the Diavel.
The Diavel, they've just come out with a limited edition, the carbon black, which is amazing.
You just started hopping in your chair there.
So why Ducati? Why after Porsche Ducati?
That's an interesting question. We weren't looking to go into the motorbike business specifically, but Ducati is now part of the Porsche Holdings Group. It's specifically owned by Audi, and I got a phone call from an ex-Porsche colleague in Germany asking us if we could assist them in getting a distributor for Ducati in South Africa, because they had some dealers but no importer, and Ducati was not doing well in South Africa. And we felt that we had to help, being part of the group. And it was almost like going back to my roots, because I first started with a motorcycle shop way back then. I won't say how far back.
Can we ask which shop though?
I started with a Suzuki franchise, but eventually we had Yamaha, and then Kawasaki, and then also we had 2 Honda shops as well.
And you finished with Ducati.
And now Ducati is a great brand, and because of Audi owning them now, they're properly financed, and every time we get new models, they're more comfortable. There's more logic in the model lineup, and I think Ducati's got a great future.
I'm excited because I've heard, for those who don't know, Johnny is in charge of Ducati,
that's correct.
Everyone knows him or should know him. If you don't, go have coffee there. But he whispered something to me about 2016. Is there anything you can tell us about the models and that? Some exciting stuff happening there.
I don't know what he told you, but he's not allowed to tell you these things.
He didn't say too much, so I thought
But what I can tell the listeners is that Ducati will launch 2 major new models in 2016, which will be tailor-made for the market.
Wow.
It will be a little bit out of the box for Ducati in terms of what people think of Ducati as only sports bikes. The Scrambler was out of the box already, but there was a tradition there. So you'll just have to be a little bit patient and see what they come up with. But there'll be a lot of other models as well, updates on existing models that are coming.
Okay. But when you say out the box, price-wise or in terms of product?
Ducati will always be an expensive bike. It'll never be cheap. So, but it'll be in segments that they haven't previously competed.
Ah, that's nice. Branching out.
Yes.
Well, we've got to take a quick little break here. It's been absolutely fantastic chatting to you, and I think we can pick it up possibly afterwards. We're going to take a quick break. Don't forget to follow us here. #AutoCentral, and of course that's at AutoTrader SA, or join us on one of our own handles and follow us on the other social media channels, AutoTrader SA, Facebook, Twitter, the whole host of them.
Auto Central, powered by AutoTrader on CliffCentral.com.
Yep, and we're back. Welcome. Yep, you're listening to Auto Central here on Cliff Central. #AutoCentral and at AutoTrader SA. We have Toby Venter, CEO of Porsche South Africa, in the studio with us. And we were just chatting off air. And George, you raised a couple of very pertinent questions about the success of Porsche in the second-hand market, I believe.
Well, in the second-hand market, Toby, it's a well-known fact that Porsche's values hold up quite well. And so I mean, how is that possible when, everybody knows car prices depreciate quite rapidly, and nowadays a car is not an investment? Can you say that that's slightly different for Porsche, and why?
I'll agree with you. The Porsche resale is exceptional, and that is due to us paying specific attention to protecting any Porsche owner's investment. We do that through a number of ways. The first starts with us supporting the trade-in values. If a Porsche customer buys a car from us and he wants to trade it in, or even sell it back to us, we're prepared to buy it back or trade it back. So we support our own product and we trade our own product. The second thing is the cars are economical to run, and we try and make sure our parts prices are very competitive.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I've heard of a car, Chad, that has a 9-year warranty.
No, 5 has been like the max.
Yeah. That is unique in the market as well. Our pre-owned program has been very successful, and it's quite unique in the market that we offer up to 9 years or 200,000 warranty on the pre-owned cars.
Because we hear about unlimited mileage. We sit there with 3 or 5 year unlimited mileage, and
but that's like going to a buffet with an all-you-can-eat. Your stomach is only so big.
Exactly. Yeah, there is. It is. So I mean, 9 years is actually quite refreshing, and I mean that puts us. That's going to take us back to 2006 now.
So what I'm hearing is this
2006. That's still pretty much covered. In essence. That's fantastic.
There's two things that are holding up the prices of Porsche, or the value of Porsche. Let me not say the prices of Porsche. Is your support for the brand and the trade-in, and then the warranties. So somebody's covered for a very, very long time.
Yeah, and we try and cater for the first-time buyer that hasn't got the money for a new car. We're consciously aware that is where people will start. Yeah. I started there myself. I didn't buy a brand new Porsche straight away. And the cars are very good as well. They're reliable. They're fun to drive. They've got great character. They're practical. You can't find too many exotic sports cars like the 911 that can be used every day and have 2 back seats as well.
And that's quite important.
It is hugely important. And Porsche's had very good success over the past 3 years with Car of the Year. You've taken 3 on the trot. Which models were those, and how has that affected the Porsche sales and business and the perception of the brand in South Africa?
It's been very positive. For 27 years they ran Car of the Year competition, and we didn't even get into any finals. And then we won 3 in a row.
Wow.
It was amazing. It's due to a lot of factors. The first one was the first car that won was the Boxster, outstanding car, and it just was a class above all the competition for that year. The Car of the Year competition culminates in a 3-day test session at Duratec, and our car on the day simply performed very well.
But it's like you say, Toby, you mentioned earlier that it's value for money. I mean, you offer so many so many things that other cars, it seems to be in its own league, and it has been now for a while.
I mean, the Boxster that won the first car of the year title sold for under 600,000. It was 599, the car that we put in. I think it's important to just tell the listeners that you can't enter car of the year competition. You get nominated.
Yes.
And then there's a final. So the Boxster took it the first time, and then hot on its heels was the Cayman S. Again, it was an outstanding car.
Love that car.
That performed so well. And it's like a baby supercar, you know. It really looks the part, goes the part, sounds the part, and it's dynamically just in another league. And then last year we won with the Porsche Macan, which opened up a brand new segment. It's not really an SUV; it's like a 911. That's a 4x4, and that car has been very successful for us. The Macan, the Cayenne is our best seller because that's the most practical, has the most space, and traditionally, and especially in diesel form, has been super economical. But the Macan surprised us because we thought it was quite expensive compared to the Cayenne, but it provided what the buyers wanted. They wanted that Cayenne in a smaller package,
like a crossover.
It's like a crossover, but it comes with the Porsche genes, so you can put it on a RaceTrack, and it'll blow your socks.
Wow.
Well, I'm curious if I know you need to run, and thank you so much for your time with us. I know Chad wants to say something as well. I just want to ask, if I'm a Porsche owner, will I be able... Porsche. Okay, I'll get that right first. Will I be able to put it on the track? Will the opportunities not to race, to test it, or just to maybe enjoy it, like a track day that we have sometimes for bikes? And is there insurance? Will there be insurance issues?
The answer to the insurance is you got to talk to your insurance company.
I actually meant, what do you call it? Warranty. Sorry, warranty.
If it's done with a Porsche sports driving school, then you got your full maintenance plan and warranty intact.
Okay.
If you want to race your car on your own, then that's for your own account.
Then that all falls away.
Yeah. Look, there's no warranty in the world that will cover a car on
racing.
The track. You know, but under the Porsche Sports Driving School and at Kyalami, we'll offer all Porsche owners enough opportunity to put the car on the track.
Wow, that's nice to be able to really enjoy the
absolutely
flex it.
Yes,
that's fantastic. Well, Toby, we want to thank you very much for joining us. I know it's been a bit of a long-winded saga trying to get you in here, but finally joining us. And we want to thank you very much. We want to thank you for what you have done for the motorsport and what you're doing with the brand in the country. Well, thank you very much. We applaud you, and thank you very much for joining us.
It's been a great pleasure, and thanks for inviting me, and thanks to the listeners.
Great.
And I just want to say as well, I need to say thanks to Christo, because he did put up with me for the last couple of...
Batman.
Yeah, he's wonderful, Christo. If you're out there and you can hear, thank you.
Yeah, so we want to thank them, but we're still here, and we're going to be chatting cars, and we're going to go from what was, Porsche in South Africa to something considerably different, Citroën. And Citroën Cactus, because that is our review car now this week.
You mentioned that a while ago.
The Citroën Cactus, yes.
So
I think I was testing it at the time, and I said it was so weird and it was so quirky, and it is. It's a weird French car, plain and simple, but it's so innovative as well. And while we're on the topic of Car of the Year as well, the Citroën Cactus has actually been nominated and is a finalist in the 2016 Car of the Year.
I see that list here. That's interesting.
You got the list there, yes. And I mean, it's a very interesting one, and it is. It's the Citroën C4 Cactus, and it is a fantastically innovative little car. It's quite left of center, and that's a very French way of going about things. The French have always been innovative, and they were some of the first to innovate self-leveling suspension and adaptive corner lighting. But they're doing it again now with a little Cactus. I don't want to say that they're totally reinventing the wheel.
It has a name of a plant.
Yes, it is that's the first thing.
You just spoke about a car that's named after a pepper.
Porsche, a pepper.
I didn't. Oh.
All right, come on, people. So
after a pepper.
Yes.
Well, at least it's hot.
Oh, okay.
Yes, there we go.
At least it's hot.
What are you trying to say about the
spiky?
The Cactus? Do we not want to go there?
Yes, let's.
But it is. Go. I mean, the first thing that stands out on the Cactus is, of course, the design, and it's a very quirky design. It's got plastic panels on the side of the car, and we've seen it in a couple of other vehicles, but they never really sat and stuck in our minds as to why they were there. Now, these are thermoplastic polyurethane panels on the side, and they're filled with the little pockets of air. This will protect your car from dings and scratches that you're going to get from bicycles, balls, shopping trolleys, car doors in parking lots. And
yes.
It can withstand an impact up to 4 kilometers an hour. So it's not going to protect it in the event of an accident. It's not a full-blown airbag, but it's going to protect it from the usual little dings and scratches. And they've managed to incorporate this into the entire bodywork pretty much all the way around without it looking like too much of an afterthought, and that's fantastic.
Well,
I
mean,
like
the cactus name joke aside, I mean, Citroen's always been known with their future technology.
Future.
I mean, they came up with that, or they came out with that Citroen with the suspension and lights.
Yeah,
that was way ahead of its time.
I was going to ask now, is this the only car that's got this?
I went back and I tried to do a little bit of research, and for the life of me, I couldn't recall a memorable vehicle that had this similar sort of technology on it.
Bumper car technology.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get it.
Because I don't know of anyone.
You're going to get it in a couple of the 4x4s. You know, they're going to have large, thick strips on the side. They're unpainted strips and that's serving a similar purpose.
But not in the paint, not in the actual.
This sits considerably higher up on the panels, and it's a separate panel itself. But it's not only there where they've been a little innovative. To save weight, they've dropped wind-down rear windows. So they've just put in latch windows at the backs. Not the end of the world. It is a 4-door. It gives it a bit of a coupe sort of look by not having roll-down windows and that little windowsill in there. But I thought it was a bit cheeky on them. I thought, okay, well, this is how you're cutting corners in terms of cost, because a window mechanism and all that is very pricey. And if you're just going to put one hinge on it with this little latch, it's going to be considerably cheaper. But they said, how often are you actually carrying people in the back that need to have that window open? And it's very seldom, because if you do have people in the back, it's going to be youngsters, and you actually don't want that window to be all that way open, or you're going to have animals or something in the back. And it's geared towards those with an active lifestyle. It looks like a big car, but it's no bigger than a hatchback.
I don't know. I look at it very differently. For me, it's like, tell me to pay for a full car, but kind of give me
half the effect.
For the back half, whether I have people in there or not.
Or not, yeah. Ideally, you'd like it. So, I mean, yes, if you have to... And if that's one of your purchasing criteria is the fact that you have to have wind-down rear windows, by all means. I've been driving a coupe around for I don't know how many years, and anybody sitting in the back, tough. You've got a solid window there. You're not opening anything. You're going to wait for me to climb out before you open anything.
I suppose it's like having a one-seat bike only, no pillion.
That's the sort of thing. You buy a little MX-5 or something of the sorts. You're not expecting to carry 3 people. You're only going to carry one person. You acknowledge, and you buy a car accordingly. And
has the Citroen brought that suspension technology through?
No, not really. The suspension, in fact, is still, I don't want to say it's rudimentary. It's still traditional suspension in that sense. Back end's a little bit firm, but I think it's because the back end is so light.
I'd be very curious to find out why they dropped that tech. And why they didn't bring it through into their future cars.
Auto leveling, I don't doubt that you'll see it on their larger models. You've got to remember that this is, I don't want to say an entry-level car, but it's a crossover car. I mean, we're looking at 249,000. Let me just confirm that number here.
But Chad, I want you to explain
250
also.
Odd.
Yeah, you're starting at 230. 229,900, and that's for the fuel version. If you go with the 1.2 litre turbocharged 3-cylinder PureTech version, it's 290. So it's a little pricier. You're getting a lot of car for your money, hey? You really are getting a lot of car,
no
and
windows,
you need to.
No roll down.
Nah, but you need to see the interior, and the interior is actually very, very good in the car. They've only got 2 screens in it and very few buttons, because the center screen houses all your air conditioning controls, all your infotainment, your car settings, and then the other one, you don't have a normal binnacle for your gauges. You've just got this digital display. It is lacking a rev counter and a temperature gauge, which I'm a bit of a traditionalist. I like to see that in a car. It's lacking that, but other than that, it is styled beautiful. You will love the interior. It is styled to look like luggage. So it's got straps on it. Instead of a door handle, it's got this double-stitched strap.
Why will I like it? Because it's luggage.
It's so stylish. No, it's such a stylish interior. It's fantastic.
But I want to know, what do you mean by firm, the back?
It is firm. It's a slightly more firm ride. So if you go over a bit of an uneven surface, let's say...
So bumpy.
Yeah, in a traffic circle or something of the sort that's a little uneven, you're going to feel the back end move around a little bit,
Ooh.
It's not as well planted.
Not built on a bucky chassis?
No, it's not built on a bucky chassis, no, but it's just, I think if you had people in the back, you wouldn't feel it, but it's just, an empty car.
So it kind of needs a bit of weight.
It could possibly do with a bit of weight, but it's a very low weight car because it's got that small little motor. The motor's fantastic. It's absolutely frugal. Little 1.2 litre 3-cylinder motor.
1.2 litre 3-cylinder. This is becoming popular.
It is. I've got another test car on test at the moment with the same engine. You're going to have to keep an eye open for that. It's not the Focus ST that's standing outside. That it drinks juice like a space shuttle. So this one just sips fuel. But if you want to take a look at the rest of my review on the Citroen Cactus, it is up. It will be up on cliffcentral.com. It is going to be up on AutoTrader.co.za as well, so you can check out for it there. George, let's touch base just before we close. What's happening with Drive Change?
Well, Drive Change went very, very well. We were fortunate enough to hand over 8 bicycles to 8 lucky students during the course of last week, and at the same time we handed over a check for 250,000 Rand to Quebecer, and we managed to bring in that container. We managed to fund bringing in that container.
That's
so that's happening and on the go at the moment. We're giving the company cars or handing the company cars over to our salespeople next week, and that's an exciting time. The cars are looking stunning, absolutely stunning.
That is fantastic.
That's with graffiti, hey?
Yes.
Fixing it up and that.
Yes.
Can't wait to see.
Graffiti actually came to the party, and I must take my hat off to them. They came up with new technology that's never been used before to put on our cars. So well done to them.
Fantastic. Well done. Well done to all there. And of course, if you want to get in on that conversation, autotrader.co.za/drive change. You can go and check it out there. And while you're there, go and check out our news, our reviews. Go and like us on Facebook. Go and like us on Instagram, Twitter, the whole works. You can follow us all over the World Wide Web. And don't miss us next week here on Cliff Central with Auto Central. From me, Chad Lukhoff, George Mini.
At SA Speed Queen.
Wilmany, Janssen van Rensburg. It's good night. Bye-bye. Enjoy.
Auto Central, powered by AutoTrader on cliffcentral.com.